Hello, Drag Racing fan. Lee Craft, the Monday Morning Racer, live here with Between the Slicks. So, you're here on location, Edgewater Sports Park, just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, just west of it. And what a beautiful facility it is. It's well situated kind of in the middle of nowhere, right on the banks of the Great Miami River, but you get to the facility and plenty of trees, a great track. I'm actually situated here in the Round 1 Lounge, I believe is what they call it. It's a nice bar lounge overlooking the track with a patio. It's a really nice setup, and they even are going to have some live music playing here in a few moments. You can probably already hear some of it, so we'll get through that tonight as well. But already here in Ohio, ready for Nitro Chaos, and ready to chat with you concerning drag racing around the world, because we do have news from around the world tonight to cover in drag racing news when we get to it. So thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button for me. Hit the share button. Let me know where you're tuning in from, as I do that myself, and share to the personal pages and profiles and things of that nature as well. So thank you for tuning in tonight. The show guest, looking forward to having him on. He is no stranger to Between the Slicks, but it will be the first time that I have had him on the show, and I'm actually interviewing him because the last time he was on the show, he was on and Sam interviewed him. It was actually right before the first ever Funny Car Chaos Classic. So it's once again great to have Sean Bellemeur on to talk with him about 2023, where the Killer Bees started and where they have got to recently. Because when you look at the record, it seems like they had a little bit of a rough start. It was a bit unexpected not to see them running at such a place as Pomona, but they come out, they win the Las Vegas Regional, and then they win the national event at zMAX Dragway in the 4-wide configuration. So they are definitely moving in the right direction in Top Alcohol Funny Car. And that team, they've got number 3 on the side of that car for a reason, but they are aiming to have number 1 on the side of that car at the end of the year. So guys, we're going to try to work through the live music being played. I didn't know that was going to be happening in where I'm set up. If it gets too bad, let me know, and I'll try to make some adjustments and move around. But live from Edgewater Sports Park, just west of Cincinnati, Ohio. Matter of fact, they say that this is the race place in Cincinnati for the surrounding area. If you've never been here, this is my first time here. I definitely think it's worth the visit. Very nice facility, and a facility they continue to put work in and update. And that's always a good thing to hear, that you have people investing in their facility and where they're racing. So I'll take a few moments, go into the comments section here. Darren Williams Jr. says, my man, hey, American Hot Rod Entertainment, thank you for watching. Drag Racing Central says, Sean is definitely someone who deserves a nitro ride. You know, Drag Racing Central, I don't disagree with you, and Sean's been asked that question, but the fact of the matter is he's getting it done at the level that he is in, and it's no easier there than in Nitro. If anything, with the combination that he's driving, he's able to showcase his talents and abilities even more in that Top Alcohol Funny Car ride. So he certainly deserves a ride, I think, yes. But I don't know. I don't know why. It's fascinating to me. We certainly have this stigma within drag racing that, oh, you got to get in a nitro car for any type of legitimacy. But there have been greats. There are greats. Some of the greatest of all time never stepped into, I won't say never, but they never campaigned a nitro funny car. They campaigned an alcohol car, whatever type of car that is, or even the sportsman classes. I really wish we'd get to the point where people understood that when you win the U.S. Nationals, or when you win a championship in NHRA drag racing, even though there might be that term sportsman to it, you did it at the highest and most professional level you could. Dan Fletcher is not just a sportsman. He is a professional racer. Luke Pataki is a professional racer. Many of these big money bracket racers, they make a living out of going to these big money bracket races and making it into the money, getting that split and winning it all. They are professional racers in their own right. They just do it differently than someone in the Camping World ranks. And I would also say, when you actually dive in deeper and you look at the behind the scenes in the world of NHRA Camping World drag racing, of the professional racers, there's less professional racers than you think. Because many of them, either they are independently wealthy, or they've brought a bunch of money to the table and they have the ride, or yes, they actually have the ride because they're talented and they're there because the team wants them there, and that's a very small number within the world of NHRA Camping World drag racing. That's a reality. So yeah. Which we'll talk with Sean in just a moment about that. We'll ask him concerning that. Thank you all for diving into the comments section. Hey, Darrell, let's see what Darrell Kraft is saying. It says, there's a lot of history at Edgewater. I live about an hour away. I hope to run into you this weekend. Hey, Darrell, would love to meet you, man. Hey, we'll be out here doing the pit reporting thing for Nitro Chaos. Be on the starting line with the camera and hopefully helping out, making sure this event runs smoothly, as we'll cover later in drag racing news. This is going to be a different weekend for sure for the Chaos brand that it has never experienced before, and that is there's two Chaos races running simultaneously. So Nitro Chaos here at Edgewater Sports Park, just west of Cincinnati, Ohio, and then at Pinwheel Nights Raceway in Odessa, Texas, Funny Car Chaos will also be competing. Yes, tons of history here at Edgewater. As I had it described to me once, actually last year, by Dennis Salzwimmer, the promoter of the Great Lakes Nostalgia Funny Car Circuit. He said it is a old Nitro place. They've been running Nitro here and funny cars and such for a very, very long time. And thank you for chiming in, man. Appreciate that. We'll continue. Let's see, Brian. I'm broke. I have a car. And your car is also slightly broke, Brian. Brian Galwick, driver of the Galwick and Scrow funny car, had a slight incident in the final quad at the zMAX Dragway, but he told me he stayed in it, and he should have also stayed in it. And as he says, so he's broke, like money-wise, but he has a car. Hey, you're funny car racing, man. I guess that kind of goes along with it for sure. Darren Wins Jr. will take his comment very simply, very quickly. Do you think Frank Manzo doesn't get talked about enough? Yeah, he doesn't. Or is known to the average drag racing fan because he didn't make his name in Nitro? Absolutely. Yes, like, Frank Manzo, Jay Payne. I think Austin, I think he's known the way he is because there was that stint in Nitro, and people are able to look back, oh, no, he did this too. I mean, yeah. People need to take a look. They need to dive in. They need to see. They need to realize. And the guys that are in those ranks, they need more exposure. And in drag racing news, we'll talk about in those ranks that they very well may get some more exposure this weekend later on. So, Sean, in the green room, can you hear me, man? Wave for me if you can hear me. All right, you ready to come on, Sean? Because before the music fires up, we'll just get you. Okay, good, folks. We're gonna take a break. We'll get Sean on. We'll chat with him. So if the music does get too loud, I can just end the show. But we'll get the main attraction of the night in, and that is Mr. Sean Bellemeur, driver of the Bartone Brothers Top Alcohol Funny Car in NHRA Lucas Oil Division competition. This break, then the winner next. If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your central console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop
put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, theft deterrent system, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your theft deterrent system TDS and steal the thieves' hope.
Sean, man, welcome once again to Between the Slicks. Good to actually have you on, and I'm the one doing the chatting with you. Uh-oh, you're muted, man. Oh, on your end.
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
You know, for working with computers every day, I suck at them, so sorry about that.
Well, you know, you think that when I write art, with being a guy that writes articles and put up shows, I could spell people's names right, too. I could do that. So we all make mistakes, man. We all make mistakes. and you're one of the few, I don't know why, there's a couple of drivers out there, I get it in my mind, and I'm like, no, their name is not that, but I will say, like your case, Shane. I don't know why I want to say Shane every time, but your name is not Shane. It is Sean, in fact.
When Shane and I used to race a lot out on the West Coast, of course, we're good friends. Our kids play together and stuff. His shop's just a couple miles down the road from me. We would actually, when we'd race each other, just to screw with people, we'd trade tow vehicles on the way back. So I'd be sitting in his and he'd be sitting in mine just to mess with people. It was a good time. So trust me, you're not the first.
Right, not the first. Well, very good, very good. Certainly not your first win there at the 4-wide Circle K Nationals there at zMAX, but I know that you and your group definitely want more wins this year. Let's take it all the way back into 2022. There's a 3 on the side of the car to be put on instead of a number 1. I imagine that was something that, even though 3's good, it's not where you all as a team want to be.
You know, it's you've got the dream gig. When you win Indy, you win 4 national events more than any other alcohol funny car racer, and you call the season a failure. So, no, you know, we for our team and Steve Boggs and the Killer Bees and Bartone, the expectation is to go out and win. Now, you know, make no mistake, the guys have a great time. We have a lot of fun. We know the realities of drag racing and the fact that there's some really, really good cars out there. And so, no, we wanted more, but at the same time, we still had a good season last year. We had a lot to build off of. Where we struggled was on hot tracks, and we kind of fell into a gully there for a while where we were fighting some clutch problems and on hot tracks at the same time, and there was just no window. And so what really got us was that, and at regional events, we ran into some bad luck. 2 events that we had won at the previous year got canceled, wiped off the schedule entirely. So, you know, it's just one of those things. It was one of those years. I mean, take nothing away from what Gordon and Westerfield did. They had, you know, better seasons than we did. They made stuff work, and you know, they were really tough to beat, and it was really fun trading blows all year long with those guys last year.
Certainly trading blows, and y'all do that regularly in the top alcohol funny car ranks. It is highly competitive, even though the car counts might not be the highest. I do got to ask, though, are you kind of glad that you are in funny car right now instead of top alcohol dragster? Because it just looks nuts over there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun over there right now, and I got to tell you, the answer to that's no. I wish there was 30 funny cars every weekend, because that's one of the reasons why I think our team's successful. I mean, we talk as a group, and every single time we don't care who's in the other lane. We are going up there with fists up and ready to swing until somebody falls down. So we like the competition. We like when there's more cars. It's better for the fans. It's better for our class. I really believe, I happen to believe that history has a way of repeating itself. And I think we're going to be real soon here up on an upswing of alcohol funny cars. There's a couple of things that have happened kind of tailing off of COVID that have kept guys from coming out. And so I believe that here in the next year or two that you're going to see some good sized fields again. You know, when they get this injected nitro thing squared away, it'll be a lot better too.
Right. Yes. I think Mr. Steele is the only one that has actually put a car on the track in the injected form that is NHRA legal. A lot of people are confused. Right. Randy's combination is not NHRA legal. It's for Chaos, and it's his play toy. And Julie's got Funny Car Fever. But speaking of Funny Car Chaos, the boss man, Chris Graves, asked me to ask you, like, when will y'all make your Chaos debut? So I just got to ask, Shame.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the worst kept secret, but we are building an ejected nitro car too. Here's the look of my excitement. I'm a blown alcohol guy. I love swapping feet with the clutch and shifting gears. So it'll be a fun change. I am looking forward to it. So I'm just being dramatic, but we are looking into doing some Nitro Chaos stuff once the car is built and put together. We've got all the pieces. We took delivery of a car from Murph McKinney about a month ago. And we're waiting on just a few more parts to put the thing together and actually have a weekend off to go put it together. I'm leaving tomorrow for Indy, and it's going to be 4 weeks in a row racing. So we've got one. It's coming. We need to get on the same page with NHRA as far as the rules, because we feel anyway right now the rules are not close to be competitive. And when you're fighting for championships, you have no races to waste. And so we got to go test. We're going to use probably some Chaos stuff to maybe go do that. Hopefully we're going to hit up some Midwest stuff as well. We really enjoy racing with the Midwest Drag Racing Series as well, and get the thing figured out and see what we got, and then go from there.
As much as everybody wants to talk about how bad it is for top alcohol funny car and funny car racers in the NHRA, it seems like right now, if you're a funny car racer, it might be some of the best times in decades, because you do have Chaos, you do have Midwest Drag Racing Series, you still have NHRA. Maybe you don't care for the national events, but you show up at the regional events. Seems like it's a good time as a funny car racer.
There's a lot of options in it, and what it's done is it's taken. I mean, look at Graves's format with Chaos. I mean, you can have a car with a big block Chevy in it and be competitive. You can have a big show fuel car and be competitive. You can have a top alcohol car with a converter, be competitive. So there's a lot of options and slots to fill people in that make them want to come out and race and be competitive. And ultimately, that's why we're all there. We want to go fast in our funny cars, and we want to turn on win lights. And they've done a great job of being able to do that. Same thing with with the Midwest Series. They've been really, really receptive to letting basically anything come over within reason, but they run alcohol funny car rules, but they've done everything they can to make it accommodating for us. We've talked about doing funny car versus pro mod match races and all kinds of fun stuff. So they have too. And you're right. It's, whether you want to stay on the professional side with NHRA or go out and play around and have some fun on those other series, there are a lot of options.
Drag Racing Central did ask, what was it like racing over there with the Midwest Drag Racing Series? And you've already alluded to that and answered it, but he wants to know in particular as well, was 8th Mile a challenge to get used to? Did y'all have to change anything? I know some guys just like, we're going to just run it a little higher, or we're just going to not change gears. What did y'all do in that situation?
To start off, everybody at the Midwest Series has been, you don't have enough time in your show. Everybody get bored of me talking about how great it's been. I cannot reiterate enough how awesome the Midwest Series, Keith Haney and Todd and Ellen and everybody there, they've over the top. It's been awesome. Adjustment wise, we haven't done a lot as far as just because of the shorter track. What is tough to get used to as a driver is some of the purpose-built 8th Mile tracks, first of all, look really short. So you've got to actually tell yourself to slow down, do your job, don't rush everything. You short shift an alcohol funny car, it's not good. And so, that was the biggest mind game. The other thing that they did is they prepped the track so unbelievably well that you basically had to take your notes from any other racing series, throw them out the window. We see 60 foots in that series you just wouldn't even dream of anywhere else. And we have run 2 or 3 8th Mile times on the Midwest Series that were comparable to our 8th Mile time when we ran the national record in NHRA. I mean, the tracks are just out of control. The fans are awesome. It's big time pay. I've got nothing but praise to say for those people. They have good rescue crews. I had an incident in Tulsa a couple of years ago. A rescue crew was on me faster, like that. It just, like I said, nothing but praise. It's been awesome.
Yeah, you had a rather nasty explosion for an alcohol funny car. I mean, honestly, the only other explosion I can think of worse would be Ken Singleton's and what happened to him at the Texas Motorplex. Your Tulsa incident was pretty bad in its own right, though.
That's a heck of a story, that Tulsa deal. We were right in the middle of 2 championships, the Midwest Series and NHRA. We were right in the middle. I think we were on like 4th weekend in a row racing, and we were going to run like another 4 or 5. We were dogfight with Gordon back and forth, and this thing broke a crankshaft in the final against Chris Marshall and blew up and basically wrecked everything but the chassis and the rear end. I mean, it ruined all of it. And so between the explosion blowing things off the car and then the fire burning things off the car, my guys in 1 week got the car to Murph McKinney's, fixed, got a body from New York, brought it over. Aaron Rochon let us borrow some parts off his car because we couldn't get parts, and we went on one. We actually didn't lose a round after that. We won the Midwest Series and the NHRA Series. I think we won like 4 or 5 races in a row after that. It was awesome. But yeah, that was a heck of a boomer, and it shows that alcohol cars can do it too. And that's why they give us helmets and gloves.
Right. I'm going to try to keep moving as I've got live music starting to fire up here in the Round 1 lounge. Now, you all, your group, the Bartone Brothers, Killer Bees, look, the cars have always looked good. Like the gray with the gold was good, the gray and the red, I mean, it's all looked good. But this year, like, y'all went bold. I like it too. Like, let me find the image here. Oh, here we go. Like, emboldened big, that Jolly Roger and the cross of the red and the white on that black. Like, there had to be some talk in the off season. Like, we're going to go with this look and we're making a statement, because y'all certainly are, whether you wanted to or not.
That's Tony Bartone's brain blown out onto a funny car body. Tony and his son Anthony have ventured into the world of road racing with Andy Pilgrim, and what they wanted is kind of a blanket team. We've turned this into a 3-car team between the 2 road race cars and the funny car, and they even said it was actually more difficult to make the logos look good on the road race vehicles as opposed to the funny cars. So they actually did a lot of work on the road race vehicles, dropped it onto the funny car body, and it just looked awesome. So yeah, it's my favorite car that I've driven for Tony. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It pops when it comes around the corner. You know it's us, and it speaks to the mentality at our pit, and that is take no prisoners. It's we're going to try and make that statement this year. It's kind of a statement year. We want our number 1 back. We'll be your friend during the day, but don't get beside us because we want to kick your butt.
And that's why I like it. I mean, that, Jolly Roger, no quarter, Pirates would put up that. There would be fear for everyone on the high seas, and y'all have definitely done that for everyone on the fast asphalt of the NHRA of the Midwest Drag Racing Series, or wherever we might see you at a Chaos event. So y'all keep flying it high for sure. But I would imagine that the Gator Nationals was not what y'all were wanting or looking for. So let's begin walking up to the most recent wins, the Gators. It didn't go that well.
Yeah, no, it didn't. We went prior to Gainesville, we went testing in Bradenton, and it went good. I wouldn't say it went great. And so we were kind of fighting some clutch things back and forth a little bit. Stop me if you've heard this before. And let me be clear. I'm not making any crack on any of our clutch manufacturer stuff. Had nothing to do with that. It was us getting smarter. And so when we rolled into Gainesville, we've been light on clutch. And there's some fast cars out there. Matt Gill was kicking our butt, and DJ Cox is kicking our butt. We got to get faster. Well, then we lost a qualifying run due to weather. And so when we went up for first round, we had what we thought was about right, what we wanted, and it just was way over center. The car wheel stood, shook, turned sideways. I had to pedal it 2-3 times, and we got beat. And but that was probably the most instrumental run to our turnaround, because now we had the run that was over center. That's the one we needed probably in Q3 of qualifying. So, on paper, it did not look good. In the bigger picture, things that might have been the run that saves our year. Let's hope so.
Fascinating how that works out within sports, of that mistake or going too far, you find where you actually need to be and can move forward. Talking with Derek Kramer, they had this issue for several years where they would run good change nothing and run bad. And they finally figured out they just had to change every electrical piece on the car, and it worked out for them. But if you don't have that moment where you're like, oh, we know we went too far, and it doesn't give you those results, you can keep playing around when you don't want to play around and move forward instead of moving forward.
Right. Yep. And, and we dealt with that a couple of times over the past few years. And, one thing about Steve Boggs is 79 years old, and he is absolutely on the forefront of technology. He's in the know, and he's very much willing to be the first one to try something to keep us ahead of the other teams. And sometimes you take lumps on the head for that, but they're short term.
Well, Darren Williams Jr., American Hot Rod Entertainment. Oh, by the way, he asked if he could come by the shop, so y'all work that out later.
No problem.
We've seen Bellemeur tune a front-engine top-fuel dragster in Heritage Series, filling in on the high-speed motorsports team after the passing of Tom Sheeler. Is it Sheeler?
Yeah.
Could we see Bellemeur in a front-engine top-fuel dragster or nostalgia funny car? You already have some experience in some of those, and you were at Bakersfield earlier this year in the family hot rod, which is a fuel altered in. That's not Nitro Pro Comp. That's what class
A-Fuel.
is that? A-Fuel. Okay, A-Fuel.
Yeah.
So front engine dragster, nostalgia funny car. What's your experience already? Ever going to go back to those?
Yeah. I drove a nostalgia top fuel car from 2004 to 2008, and my first car actually out of junior dragsters was a front engine dragster that my family and I put together, a blown alcohol motor in it. I have such a wonderful memory and great spot in my heart for front engine cars, especially top fuel cars. Would I love to get back in one? Yeah. Half of me, as I'm getting older, looks at those and go, man, what was I ever doing driving one of those cars? They are badass. They're hard to drive. The biggest problem for me at this point in my life, would I love to? Sure. Between Tony's car and my family altered, we're racing 22, 25 times a year. I've got 3 daughters, 2 of which are involved in softball, 1 in gymnastics. I got a wife that is unbelievably supportive, thank God, because I think if I hang around the house too much, she's sick of me and she wants me out. So the point is there's just no time in the day. I have a soft spot for the nostalgia races. My dad and I still compete in, with our altered, and we have a great time with it. But if you could break me in half and have 2 of me, yeah, I'd love to drive one again. I never have driven a nostalgia fuel funny car. Got close a couple times, but I'm so happy where I am with Bartone. Whatever direction he and Steve want to go, the entire team, we call ourselves the Killer Bees. We have a mojo, and I can't even really explain it, but every guy on that team I will go to the ends of the earth with them, whether it's a P-stock automatic, injected nitro funny car, we're going to do it together. And so I'm happy where I'm at in life right now. My kids get to come to some of the races, so that's really cool too. And, that's where I see myself in the near future, at least for now.
All right, so after the Gators, from what I understand, the next race was Las Vegas, skipping Pomona of all places. Like, I saw you in the pits. It's like, dude, where's the car? And you explained to me that, yeah, it's kind of weird not to race there. So not racing at Pomona. Why?
Because I'm the only one that lives near it. Pomona is actually out that window about 15 minutes from me. But the car's based out of Long Island, New York. The team is based all over the country, and we are getting ready to embark on week 4 of a 4-week in a row stretch here. And so for my truck drivers, for my team, my crew guys, most of which have regular day jobs as well, to go to Pomona, extra 4 or 5 days, my truck drivers then to find a place for the rig to stay, then go to Vegas, it would have just been too much. We've got a lot of racing still to go. It's weird because it's right in my backyard, but so my dad and I went out and hung out for the day and watched some good drag racing, but that's why we weren't in Pomona.
Yeah, I think Pomona overall as an event was really good. I think there was a good turnout for several days, a lot of good racing, and, at least in the Camping World side, some controversy, especially Saturday with Funny Car. Wow, Funny Car racers did not have a good day on Saturday. The Winter Nationals was certainly a good event. Rolling into Las Vegas, national event and regional. Regional obviously was very good there. You all got the win at that event. How much did the national event play into going in and being able to win at the regional?
100%. The national event, the only reason we didn't, I don't say the only, the biggest reason we didn't win that race was me. We made, alcohol funny cars are known to be a little temperamental at times. We made 5 runs between 549 and 551. I mean, it was an absolute bracket car. And come up for the semifinals of the 4 wide, I just made a mistake and left way too low of a leave RPM. And for those that, maybe the novice alcohol funny car fan, that is huge. And it literally just bogged the motor down, and we slowed down and got our butts kicked. And so I was just short of suicidal, I think, after that race. And Tony pulled me aside, had a great talk with me. And so when we came back for the regional, we basically didn't wipe the dust off of it, sent it back to the starting line. I got my head right, and we kicked everybody's butt. So, the national event, Steve put such a great tune-up together for the car, and all it needed was a driver, and it didn't have one, so we didn't win that race. Now, like I said, take nothing away from Gordon. They were running great, but I really feel like we had something for him, and I made a mistake. And boy, it sure shows on the scoreboard when you do that. But that was the first time I feel like our car has been this consistent in probably over a year, maybe more. And again, kind of, it was that springboard for us to keep moving forward.
And so that everyone knows, there was a test session after the national event. As far as I recall, you all did not test. So you roll into the regional and wax everybody without any testing. And there were alcohol funny cars that did test that should have fared better at the regional. So y'all had it down for sure, and that rolls right into zMAX, your most recent win. The differences of Las Vegas to Charlotte, desert, Western North Carolina near the mountains. Wow, it's got to be dramatically different, even for a blower car and methanol.
That's where I need to pipe in Steve Boggs here into this conversation, because that's why he's the man. That's why he's the guy I want to drive for. He put a tune-up together for that Vegas race that was, tough to be beat. I mean, from a consistency standpoint, being fast, and then to drop everything, head to the other side of the United States, change every condition except for the number of lanes we run, and go out and do it again. That just speaks to his experience, his knowledge, his prowess of the racetrack. That is Steve Boggs in a nutshell right there. He's just he amazes me every time. I think from a tuning standpoint that I'm close to thinking what he's thinking. He just amazes me again, and I've learned to stop questioning it because he's right just about every time. And my job is to hold on to the race car and keep it from hitting anything. And so he's amazing. And like I said, at 79 years old, he's constantly coming up with new ideas, new thoughts, new things to try that maybe somebody else hasn't tried before. And so it sure is a lot of fun driving for him.
Well, this is 4-wide drag racing, Las Vegas zMAX. You get the win at zMAX. Do you think in your mind as a driver, this is more challenging, or do you think, hey, this is one less round, I can get it done that much sooner, quicker, and easier? Where are you in the framework of 4-wide drag racing?
I love doing it twice. I love the change. It's a lot of fun. You have to get your mindset, your mind really wrapped around the different style of racing. The staging part, I want to commend every alcohol funny car driver out there, whether it was in Vegas and in Charlotte, year after year, everybody does their job. There are no issues staging. I even heard Alan Reinhart say one time, I think the alcohol racers do this better than the pros. It's hard to stage an alcohol funny car, 7,000, sometimes more, depending on who you are. And to move a car that far at 7,000 RPM and have to do it in a timely manner, and then getting everybody set together, there have been no issues, and everybody's done great. So from that respect, it's been kind of made it actually easier. When you're racing for second place in first and second rounds, boy, that changes a lot of rules. I always compare driving an alcohol funny car. It's like 2 bull riders in the ring riding 2 bulls at the same time. And the one that can hang on the longest is probably going to be your winner. These are temperamental cars. We saw what a close incident there was in the final of funny car with Brian and Matt. And those are two extremely good drivers I'd get beside any day of the week. They can get away from you that fast. And so when you're racing for second place, it's always nice to come in first, but that's not what you're trying to do. The goal is first or second. And so that changes the mentality a little bit. Maybe sometimes when you wouldn't pedal it after shaking, or wouldn't shift it after having a problem, you have to, because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on in the rest of the race. So it's a little unique. I like the change. I always say going into the first one before Vegas that I just can't wait to do it again. But then after Charlotte, I'm ready to go back to conventional two wide. I know there's a lot of controversy. I've been reading up on all the pro stuff and everything that's been going on and seeing the fans' reactions to it all. I got to tell you, I think it's perfect how they do it. To me, maybe it's a little too close together. Vegas, Charlotte, right back to back. I would prefer them to be spread out. Maybe put one in the countdown. You want to really get some controversy going. Let's put that Charlotte race in the fall at 4 wide. That would get some people going. So I like it. Drag racing needs a kick in the butt. 4 wide's a kick in the butt. It's fun to watch. It's hard to watch, but it's fun to watch. And from a driving standpoint, you've got to change it up a little bit. And that's, I feel like one of the things that why we've been successful at this is because we've had a game plan going in, because it is not the same game plan when you go 2 wide racing. So I'm all for it. I can't wait to do it again next year, but I'm ready to go back to 2D. It's 2D, back to 2 wide, excuse me.
All right, yeah, back to 2 wide. And we're definitely doing that. Yes, I would like to see NHRA at the professional level with the countdown and everything have its Talladega race, if you will, and move that Charlotte into the fall. I think that would play a fascinating dynamic toward the end of the year. All right, so y'all get the win at zMAX Dragway. There's an interesting race you're going to be a part of this weekend. Alcohol, I think, is going to get a lot of exposure. That's so cool. I'm going to actually roll in there Sunday after Nitro Chaos because, Indy's only 2 hours away from Cincinnati or less. So I hope y'all get a lot of coverage this weekend. But you're sitting second in points. Is this a situation where you go into Indy and y'all are licking your chops to possibly come away and be national points leader after this weekend?
With the way this car is right now, I'd race it on Tuesday in anywhere you ask. You betcha. The thing is that this car is bad fast right now. The game plan on the track doesn't change. Go for the throat. The exposure we're going to get off the track, I'm really excited about because I'm diehard through and through alcohol funny car guy. So the as much as we can do to promote our classes and our sport, I'm really excited about that. This Cletus and Cars thing. I'm also looking forward to grabbing some popcorn and being a spectator. They got some cool crap going on out there. And I might drag a helmet along with me in case they need an extra driver for one of them. So I can't wait for this. It's a neat event. It's something new. And we need that. And to do it on NHRA's biggest stage at Indianapolis, that makes it all that much more special. And we're going to go hard. It's time to make a statement against these other guys. Gordon's already won some races. Matt Gill's won some races. Westerfield made a really good showing in Pomona. And if they get that car back going again, he'll be a contender late in the season. I'm not counting them out yet. We need to go now. And so we've got a nice little roll going. And when my team gets that ball rolling downhill, we can go fast. And so that's what we're after this weekend. I actually had a conversation with one of my teammates earlier today about this very thing. He said, man, he goes, it's easier to work on the car when she's fast and she's happy. And we're going to try and keep that going.
Well, Sean, look, thank you for coming on. I wanted to get that last question in. Thank you for coming on. The man's about to play me out here for sure. And we're going to enjoy Nitro Chaos here at Edgewater Sports Park. Look forward to seeing you at Indy and the Jolly Roger turning on the last win light.
Appreciate it, guys. It's going to be a fun year.
For sure. Thank you, Sean. All right, folks, Sean Bellemeur. Look, I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to dive into drag racing news, go over a few things, even with the live band playing. So hang with me right here on Between the Slates. Okay, now I know a lot of ruckus in the background. Let me dive through track racing news real quick. Chris King, he is going to be competing at Route 66, Chicago, for that national event coming up. We've had Chris King on the show before when he made his competition debut at Bellemeur Speedway. The Howard's Cams Competition Products Redline Oil funny car that he is going to be piloting. That is a cool deal for him, and he is a firefighter, Chicago firefighter, so this absolutely makes sense for him to be competing at the Route 66 Nationals there at Route 66 Raceway. Again, Funny Car Chaos. Cinco de Mayo at the Drags. Yes, that's happening this weekend. Odessa, Texas, Funny Car Chaos. And at the same weekend, same time, Nitro Chaos, where I'm at, up here in Edgewater, will be going on. First time that the Chaos brands have ever been split in this fashion due to weather. Here at Edgewater, there is a couple of match races. Notably, Megan Meyer called out Bushwhacker. So what you have here is you have the two most recent A field winning cars going at it in Q1 with some money on the line. I think there's like $500 on the line. So yeah, Nitro versus Nitro, fuel altered versus rear engine dragster injected nitro combination. Very cool to see these two A field winners going at it here at Edgewater. As we talked with Sean Bellemeur, Cletus and Cars. This says May 6th. It's also May 7th, Saturday and Sunday at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. A ton is going on. Burnout competition, the Freedom 800, ton is going on. But the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series with the top alcohol funny cars, the top alcohol dragsters, they are going to be there in competition. And we're talking about big names as well, such as Sean Bellemeur, Julie Natus, you've got Jasmine Salinas there, Tony Stewart, so on, going to be there at this show. And I plan on getting up there Sunday and covering the alcohol classes, help out just a little bit more exposure. All right, NHRA All-Star call out for Pro Stock. Glad that Pro Stock is getting this type of exposure. This is going to go down at Chicago coming up, and the people in that field are Dallas Glenn, Matt Hartford, Kyle Koretsky, Aaron Stanfield, Troy Kaufman Jr., Christian Quadra, Erica Enders, and Camry Caruso. You basically have an elite versus KB Titan showdown. Dallas Glenn being the number one seed, he gets the number one call out. PDRA, they have announced that Redline Oil will come on board as a title sponsor for the Carolina Nationals. Hey, you've ever heard of this guy's name, Will Smith? Yeah, I don't mean the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean the Fresh Prince of Drag Air, the one that is teaming up with Larry Dixon. We'll talk about that in a moment. He is the marketing guy for the PDRA, so good job there, Will Smith, and worked it out to have a great brand in Redline come on for the Carolina Nationals. Hey, speaking of Larry Dixon, he is going to be racing down under once again for Rosparata Motorsports, and it is round 6 of the Burson Auto Carts Australian Top Fuel Championship, May 5th, 6th, this weekend at Sydney Dragway. Larry's back behind the wheel. Larry is going to be taking his car back out with Will Smith once again at Chicago. They're going to be teaming up for Will to hit the track. Their partners, a lot of them are near Chicago. Indianapolis near Chicago. They're going to take another crack at it. I definitely think they're going to make the field, because Tony Shortall and Larry Dixon have made statements that with changes made in the car and what they saw in licensing with Cody Crone earlier this year, they are very pleased with the car. And my last announcement concerning track news, the Southeast Gassers Association, they have been hit by the weather bug as well. Farmington Dragway had an issue of not getting their shutdown area completed in time with the repaving and the reworking of it, and then they moved the race to Wilkesboro Dragway, but weather is going to be an issue, so it has now been postponed. It will now be May 19th and the 20th at Wilkesboro Dragway for the Southeast Gassers Association. So folks, ladies and gentlemen, that is your drag news. Sorry for the live band. When I set up here, I didn't know there was going to be a live band coming in later. By the time I was setting up, they were setting up, and I'm like, ooh. So we got Sean in. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button for me. It's live, it's mobile, you never know what's going to happen. Thank you. I'm Lee Kraft, the Monday Morning Racer. God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal.
Power-Built Tools exemplifies innovation in the tool industry. From hand tools, power tools, and even tool storage. Check out powerbuilt.com for Power-Built Tools. And remember, use promo code MMR15 for 15% off at purchase.